if you're a radio listener, I'm looking at the cover of Time magazine, The Gunfighters. Can a billionaire, a vice president, and a shooting survivor stop the violence? Now imagine, human violence has never stopped. If they really wanted to stop the violence, Obama would have said serotonin reuptake inhibitors and other psychotropics have been involved in 99% of these mass shootings. And he would go on to say guns are good. We've seen a 49% in the last 20 years, FBI statistics from the local governments, very accurate numbers. That's why they hide them. 49% drop in crimes using guns. 21% drop in the same period on overall violent crime. We've shown you those numbers at nauseum. Go to FBI.gov and just go into it. There's thousands of pages. It'll blow you away. All compiled locally. Very accurate numbers. Murders, muggings, carjackings, you name it. I mean, imagine the level of this hoax. Imagine the level of what we're talking about. Can they stop the violence? And you notice they all keep saying, we can never have one more child shot. I mean, that's ridiculous. Never have one more child die in a car wreck. One more child drowned. I mean, the number's like 15-something times drowned every year would die from guns. We're going to ban swimming pools, going to ban showers, going to ban... People fall every day in every... I mean, it's more, probably every hour. I mean, the number is in the tens of thousands every year, falling and hitting their heads in the bathtub and dying. But again, they emotionalize it, they hype it, they stand on the graves of the children. Obama uses the children like human shields to sell his agenda and says, I'll get it done for you. It is over the top. That's why I get so angry. But they're targeting well-meaning, dumbed-down Americans that, like, come on, you care about the kids, right? Let's take the guns for them. Oh, I guess you're right. But Bill Clinton came out over the weekend, I think we have a video clip of it at Infowars.com, saying, don't trivialize the gun culture. These people are hard to beat, and they're getting mobilized. Because we understand it's the final straw. It's the bellwether. It's the canary in the coal mine. It shows the system is going for broke. Absolutely going for broke. In a big way. On every front. And, of course, they're going after our liberties on every front. And our forebears warned us about this over and over again, and history has shown in other nations what this means. That's why it's such a big deal. And while they want to control the debate, they're not controlling the debate. And this is how wars happen, because we're committed to our cause, they're committed to theirs. That's why I want to talk to those in the middle, the police and military, and say to you, you're being trained to take our guns. That's now public. You're being trained that veterans and gun owners and George Washington are bad guys. That's public now as well. Think of how otherworldly and ridiculous that is and how absurdist, but it's really happening. Because they have to demonize us ahead of this civil war they want to start, and that's what Homeland Security... I saw an article yesterday, Aaron Dykes covered it. So did David Ortiz on the news. Where they said, oh, nationwide they're going to put gunshot detectors up for Homeland Security to detect shooters. And I went and looked it up, and sure enough, it's microphones. See, oh, we're going to spy on you because of guns, but we're listening to you as well. Oh, everybody's got to go get a psychiatric evaluation, and the government will decide if you're mentally ill. And by the way, it's mentally ill to want to own a gun. Notice you hear that. And gun owners are Nazis, and gun owners are Klan members, and gun owners helped kill the kids at Sandy Hook, and gun owners are scum, and gun owners are trash, and gun owners are filth. I mean, you're seeing Bob Schaefer. We defeated Hitler, we can defeat the gun owners. CBS News. And a normal, informed person goes, man, that's discrediting. Not if we don't resist it and say, how dare you. They will normalize the idea that we are criminals inherently because we own guns. I mean, that tells you how bad these people are. That every FEMA training manual, and I've got video of it in Road to Tyranny, it's online. They go and tell police, and police have called in, you've heard them. Yeah, no, we get sent to training, especially the officers, the sergeants and up, where they sit around for 3 days, they send them off to these resorts, and the feds come in, and they sit there and badmouth America and tell them how bad America is. I mean, there's the enemy right there. Imagine a movie where, the feds call in the cops and go, the founding fathers are bad, guns are bad, families are bad, you can't trust people that talk about wanting sovereignty, they're the enemy, we've got to train to take their guns. I mean, right there, folks, is the bad guy. Right there is the foreign operative. I mean, it's so over the top, but that's how tyrannies are. Joseph Goebbels, Nazi propaganda minister, and I've read many of his writings, said over and over again, he admired Edward Bernays, U.S. propagandist, but admired him but wanted to kill him. It was declassified. They had plans that when they took the U.S. by having a Occupy government, like you don't just come have the French stand down. You don't just have the Americans stand down. They were going to have a deal with an American government with Senator Bush, Prescott Bush. This came out in the McCormick-Dickstein hearings. You can read the congressional record. They were going to have him and others, led by Smedley Butler as the president, the two-time Congressional Medal of Honor winner, two-star general who had very high approval ratings. They were going to have him as the new dictator. And he said, listen, I'm not going to do that and help stop it. But it was so incredible, it would have brought the whole system down. So they shut it down and nobody went to jail except German spies who were actually German. Again, this is history. When you know this, there's no going back. That's how the bankers have taken over, is with collaborators. But it's a corporate takeover. They've gotten very sophisticated. The British Empire in the last 100 years started losing militarily. So they said, we'll go into the U.S., we'll set up the CFR, we'll take over their government, not for the British people, the British corporate imperial model. After World War I, they said, we can't beat the Germans. They've got all the science, all the technology. They call it the German problem in their newspapers. And Lord Milner said, this was in public newspapers, he said, we need to fund radicals in Germany, help them basically have a civil war, which Germany had in the streets. We'll put radicals in, and then we'll destroy them. We'll give them weapons, encourage them to attack Europe. After they wreck Europe, we'll then take over. This is all, go look it up. It was in the front page of the Times of London. I've read it. The online scans. This was in all our newspapers at the time. Just like they put Saddam in, just like they create Al-Qaeda, just like they're trying to radicalize the militias and get us, led by feds inside militias, to start an offensive fight. They tried to start a civil war in 1993, and then again in 95, but the police wouldn't go along with it. So they couldn't fully carry it out. That's why they're trying to federalize. See, they know what they're doing. Again, I had family who were colonels and people in the Confederacy. But that doesn't mean that I was for the Confederacy. The Confederacy was a tyranny. But so was Lincoln. See, it's not that one side was good, one side was bad. The South was wronged on tariffs that ripped off the South and not the North. Tariffs on agricultural goods, not on finished goods, not on industrial goods. The taxes were wrong. There's a lot of stuff went on. But the point, and of course, Lincoln was a tyrant. But he believed he was doing good. The British came in and publicly financed the South to and of course, the North went along with the manipulation and started the war with the South. Again, the problem is it's all history. If you just knew history, folks, you'd understand how this works. Now, Obama is different. He's not like Lincoln, who was just trying to maintain control and went to tyranny. And of course, then Lincoln didn't want to abuse the South with Reconstruction, so they killed him because they wanted the very same interest, wanted to loot the South. The globalists want crime. The globalists want control. The globalists want chaos. And they want a civil war in this country. And Ron Paul agrees with me. It will cause a civil war when they come for the guns. It's guaranteed, and they know that. And the only way to stop them is to go, look, we know you want to start a civil war. We know you're foreign occupiers. We know what you're doing. We know you're illegitimate like the Vichy French. Again, they didn't want to tell people in our history books that the French, see, everybody says the French gave up in 2 weeks. There was only a few army groups that fought back in the French. 90+% stood down and became the new Vichy French government, run out of Vichy France. It was only the British that really fought, a small expeditionary group that then ran to Dunkirk, and you had the famous evacuation. And Hitler still had a treaty with England that he thought they were going to follow to divide up Europe with him. That's how they set him up. So Albert Speer, the vice Führer, the vice president, flew over and parachuted in to meet with the Lord, who'd made the agreement with him. That's why they locked him up in the Tower of London, never letting him talk to the media until he died. Oh, you didn't know about the treaty England had with Hitler? See, folks, this is all on the record, but they won't put it on History Channel. They put some of it on there. Our government put Mao Zedong into power, now declassified. John Birch Society said that in the 50s, declassified 6 years ago, on History Channel. Talking to the ancient CIA section chief about putting Mao in 49. Of course, but you can't tell Americans that, so you act like you're not friends until the 70s when Ambassador Bush is sent over to make the deal. Then they use the Chinese slaves to leverage out the West and deindustrialize us, consolidating power again. And it's understanding all of this that will help us beat these globalists. And so that's why people are like, come on, Alex, don't you want some sensible gun control? Why don't you come part way? Yeah, they always want us to give in something, and then we never give anything to them. They try to act reasonable all day. These are craven gangsters and their dupes who are coming after us. And so I get mobilized. I get angry. I get upset. It is not my wish to be up here at the tip of the spear. It is not a very safe position to be in, but there is no future if we don't beat these people. I've told you many times before this new Piers Morgan thing happened that every time I'm at the DNC covering an event, or every time I'm covering anarchists hired by the police, every time I'm at a so-called liberal event, when the camera's off, they'll come over and grab me by the arm, hoping I do something so the cops can arrest me. I mean, we caught the police working with the anarchists countless times, and it's been on record in Denver and other places they do this. And they'll tell me, they go, when we take over, you're dead. And I'll go, so, you're here with the police. You'll see the cops watching 10 feet away. They'll go, yeah, you bet we are, you punk. I've even had them punch me in the back, and then I turn around and see the cops waiting. And then I know to control myself. And Mike Hansen even caught some of this on tape at the it was at the Forbes meeting, I guess back in 99 here in Austin. But the point is I've told you about this. And so when I got there, and then the day after I was on Piers Morgan, they had Piers Morgan and 2 of his guests talk about how I need to be shot and killed, and how Piers Morgan will dress up in a uniform to do it. I mean, only a criminal psychology would come up with that. Yes, you'll wear a uniform. He's like, yes, I'll put on a uniform when I do it. And it's the model, daughter of the Ambassador Huntsman, along with the Daily Beast writer and Piers Morgan, Buzz Bissinger, talking about, oh, you'll wear a uniform to do it. Yeah. I mean, folks, when you know criminology, it's like, whoa, fantasizing about dressing up in uniform. See, it's the state's their power. They step into the state, and then it gives them all this power. And then we found another clip that's up at Infowars.com, a Paul Watson article, Piers Morgan used machine guns to take out critics. And then we get the Weatherman videos. And this was confirmed in federal court. And many of them pled guilty to this. They're in meetings saying, we're going to take over, put 50 million in camps, kill 25 mil. And they lick their stinking lips, folks. These are psychopaths. These are fantasy killers because they're weak. These people are sheltered. It's been proven historically. And Victor Hugo wrote about it. Prosperity makes monsters. Adversity makes men. He actually said, adversity makes men. Prosperity makes monsters. I flipped his quote. And it's true. These people. That's why cultures like Rome at the end, where the emperors were so decadent, disconnected from reality, were like, kill him, kill them, you know, kill. Because they're just spoiled brats. And to them, it's real sexy to talk about killing somebody. And that's why elites always get so decadent and sick. So here's Piers Morgan the first time talking about how they want to kill me, and then we found a new clip how they want to kill all of us. See, they want to kill you. You have to understand, they want to kill you and then rape your wife. Not these people specifically individually, but that's where this leads. That's what tyrants end up doing. Here it is.
Yeah, but what do you need a semi-automatic weapon for? The only reason I think you need it is, Pierce, challenge Alex Jones to a boxing match, show up with a semi-automatic that you got legally, and pop him.
I'd love to see that. In uniform.
All right, that's enough. And then Pierce goes, yeah, I'll wear my brother's uniform. So again, these guys are low-level minions. They just fantasize about shooting me. But the higher-level ones, not these little guys, but history shows, they want to burn cities, loot, take over. Let's go out to break with this next Piers Morgan clip. Here he is talking about killing all of us. Here it is.
What I'd do is I'd replace the buzzers with a machine gun and just take them all out and do the public a massive favour.
There you go. Now again, Piers Morgan himself, I was saying not his guest, but Piers Morgan, mass death. And he's dead serious, and he's biting his lip, and he's getting excited. And that's why physically when I was around him, I got very angry at a primitive level. That's why I challenged him. I mean, I was like, you think you're tough, buddy? I want to be the champion of liberty. I'll stand against you. I know who you are. You rapacious would-be mass murderer. Look, here's the bottom line, folks. If you act like a nation of sheep, if you act like a nation cowering to government, even if there's good people in government, they will be replaced by people looking to dominate sheep. And that process has been going on. That's why great nations that have a lot of freedom, it takes a long time for them to get rid of the old culture of freedom, the old culture of being honorable. And again, if I could give a brain transplant or like a Vulcan mind meld with all Americans or all people in the world and just let them see what I've seen, like the new Star Trek movie that came out, if I could just say, here's what I just saw, and have you see all the quotes and all the things, and them grabbing my arm, and hey, what's going on? We're going to kill you when we take over, you know that. And the first time it happened, you're like, man, who are you? I'm with them, and we're taking over soon, and I'll be our time. It's always some weird little wimp who would never face you, except they've got the cops there from the special unit, not the general cops, but the special event unit, ready to set you up. Their power is because they're a gang of bullies lined up. And then you go to the next event, and they come over and tell you they're going to kill you. And I've even caught it on tape where the communists are in New York, and they say, we're going to kill you. It's in my film, Martial Law. And I'm like, you're going to kill me? And they're like, yeah, we're going to kill all of you. When we take over, we're going to kill you. And see, it's not, folks, this is probably, I don't want to exaggerate, probably 15 times I've had them tell me in person they're going to kill me. And then now they get on the news and say they're going to kill me. I hope his kids don't get killed. Hope he doesn't get that call some night. And Piers, they cut to Piers, and he goes, yes, and I'm like, oh, that body language didn't look good. My wife's like, that's really creepy. That's a threat. And I'm like, I'm not sure, but it looked like it. My kids, who normally don't scare easier, like, they're going to kill us. I'm like, no. And then 5 minutes later, yeah, we ought to kill Alex. Yeah, we'll dress up in uniforms and do it. People are like, oh, it's just a joke. And then we cut to a chilling clip of him in England going, the answer is just to kill all the gun owners. Line them up and kill them with guns. Machine gun them. I mean, look. You don't have to believe me, those of you that haven't studied history. If you knew history, you'd know how right I was, okay? You'd be having chills right now. These are abusive, hot tyrants. You have Cold Wars, you have Hot Wars. This is a flaming volcano of meanness, of viciousness. The journey is the destination for them. That's like Lenin. In many towns, they killed 50%. The NKVD documents were declassified a few decades ago. They say, sir, we've killed about half the population, shipped the other quarter to gulags, slave labor, 1,000 miles away. There's only a small percentage of people left now, and we need them to basically supply us with food and be our servants. He'd say, nope, kill them. And they'd say, why, sir? And he wrote orders, more blood. And he'd say, and if you won't do it, I'm going to kill you. And then he would go into these things on the ground, flopping. Hitler did this too, chewing at the carpet, just murder them, murder. And that's who they are. So an incredible video and article up at Infowars.com. Prince Harry's mental problem, murdering Afghans, is like a video game. Prince Harry is playing a video game, talking to the media about how war is just like video games. And again, this is all done on purpose, just to get you, torture, secret arrest, government growing the opium, yeah, video game, kill people. So no one's going to care when you're getting killed. This is all being done by design. Again, Piers Morgan says use machine guns to take out critics, on top of saying I should be killed, and he wants to kill me. There's a new video. Nobel Prize nominee says Obama is asking military leaders if they will fire on U.S. citizens. That's up at prisonplanet.com. All this and a lot more.